as well start recording, because then you'll hear me ranting about the fact that Richard can't get Discord to work every single time we do this. Oh, I know he can hear me now because he's smiling. But I still can't hear him. No, I can't hear him. I can see his mouth moving, but nothing's coming out. Well, actually, that's nothing really unusual. I can always see his mouth moving and nothing intelligent's coming out. But no, it's still not working. I mean, it's like, you really wouldn't think it was that difficult, but he makes it seem impossible every time. Oh, he's just abandoned me. He's just disappeared. He's just gone. He's just gone. I'm not taking this abuse anymore. I've had enough. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. That's what he's done. You can't talk to me like that, wee lad. Who the hell do you think you are? Oh no, he still isn't making sound, but he can still hear me berating his technical inefficiencies. I mean, he's still got wired earbuds like it's fucking 2008. I mean, like, Jesus Christ. Bluetooth, what's that? What the hell's Bluetooth? We don't have no blue teeth up here. Our teeth are yellow the way they should be. It's fucking unbelievable. You think I'm making it up? I'm not, people. This is this every single time. There's like only so many places you can press the buttons to be heard. It's basically, in fact, there's only one place. It's ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. Discord is a pain in the ass. How many times, people, have you started Discord and it just basically doesn't start? It just sits there saying, starting, with this little loading screen for what seems like an absolute eternity. But this little green box keeps coming up on his window, which makes it appear that Discord thinks he's making noise. We'll probably find out after all this chastising. It's actually something on my problem, and I'm actually the issue. Don't you fucking point your finger at me like actually it is my problem, because I'm pretty confident it's not, because I'm hearing every other sound when you log on and off again. I'm hearing that loud and bloody clear. I wish you could just jump into somebody else's screen sometimes and sort it out for them. Like those IT techs do when they suddenly start taking over your mouse. That'd be amazing right now, because I'm pretty sure it would be like when you can't find something and you tell your wife you can't find it, and then she walks into the room, just picks it up off the counter like it was in some other fucking dimension until you made her aware of you not being able to find it. Oh God, he's actually fucking ringing me. Hang on. Let me just get this. Hello.
I can hear you.
I know you can hear me.
And my screen is going green when I'm talking as well, so Discord can hear me.
It definitely does appear that it can hear you. Let me see.
So I don't know whether I might reset my computer and then
Hang
start
on.
again.
Just 1 second. I mean, let's just say something. I think you must have pressed something because it seems like it's fixed. I think it's fixed. You must have pressed something while we were on the phone call. Yeah, I think you pressed something. It's clearly one of the on and off agains made it work. Well done. You got there in the end. Good for you. I mean, I think you should be careful before you throw around accusations without any evidence of such slander. All right, you should be careful. We don't need to get lawyers involved on this, on who did this and who did what, and whose fault it might have been. Just, if you don't know how firm the ground you stood on is, just be careful.
That's okay. Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Just thought to say hello. Because hello's a good
How
thing.
are you?
I'm alright, You're doing fine.
Yeah.
Right, let's do a...
I don't know, that's why I asked.
I've been going around adding traffic cones to everything that's nailed everything that's nailed down, basically. In the middle of doing like ridiculous amounts of gardening. I think this weekend.
Oh, don't get me started.
I think this weekend it has been synonymous with a huge amount of gardening effort that has been on both sides of the country. You where you are in deepest, darkest Peru.
Did you see what I did?
It looked like you had the worst job ever, which looked like you were clearing away bushes.
Yeah,
which is like the worst.
I'm not a gardener. I'm a bringer of destruction.
Yes.
I don't garden. I destroy.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Yes.
And we have these bushes at the front of the house, which are all fine and nice, But like I say, neither me nor Sarah are gardeners, and they always grow a little bit too far out on the path where you come to the front door, and once it gets wet, you kind of actually walk on the gravel, not the path, because you don't want to brush up against the wet bush, blah, blah. So I was going to trim it back as I did. Went to use my hedge trimmer, and it was cooked, it was knackered. So I was just like, oh, fuck's sake. So I ordered a new one from Screwfix, told Sarah while she was out, can you go and pick this up for me?
Mm-hmm.
And when she came back, plugged it all in and everything, started off, I was like, oh, lovely, And so it'd be just nice if one day we just get rid of these bushes, wouldn't it? It would be so much better. I was like, yeah, I'd like to just get rid of them, because then I don't have to do this every few months. And before she knew it, I'd gone and got the reciprocating saw and just took them off at the bottom, But the trouble was, as I was starting doing that, I thought, oh, that's all right, I could do some tip runs tomorrow, I'll put the seats down, line the back of the car with a tarp, and I can get the worst of it done. Well, by the time you moved, basically, I'm still haven't finished one of them. There's 5 massive, thick, and I mean thick bushes, and I was just like, well, that's a lot of fucking tip runs at this point. It's a lot of tip runs.
I don't think you realise. It's like cutting down a small tree.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
I have got ahead of myself here, and I should have ordered a skip at this point.
Oh.
So now I'm going to, at some point, probably when I get paid or whatever, I will order said skip. And, do the rest of the bushes and everything and have a proper go at them, So, yes, most of it is done. There is one that I haven't finished yet on the very front, and then on the road side of our driveway, so onto the path and everything, there's a whole load of other bushes as well that they don't know it yet, but their days are.
Their days are numbered. See, I think, we've got a couple of, and I will send you a picture at some point, but we've got 4 little bushes. They're probably, they're not little, they're about 3 foot high each, but they look like little shapes, and I trim them, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to trim them. And you think, when you see people that go, oh, look, I've just trimmed this and it looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you're just like, that looks like the easiest thing in the world to do. But I'll tell you what, there is and you probably discovered this, is that there is trimming a bush, and then there is massacring a bush. And if you aren't very, very careful with how you trim your bush, people, then what's happening is you're going to end up massacring that bush. And then the problem with bushery in general is that, depending on the kind of the style and species of the bush, it's maybe not one of these things that kind of grows back. So, about 2 years ago...
Or it grows back more violent.
Oh, yeah, it trims it. Yeah, I mean, it goes absolutely crazy. Yeah. And the next thing you know, you're going, I thought Japanese knotweed was fun. And, and you've got to get... So I did that. I did the trimming, the little bits of the trimming of the bush at the front garden, which I was quite pleased about. The trimming of the bush under the living room window. I painted the shed yesterday. I cut the grass. I painted the shed. I also fixed the shed because, opening the shed, windy day, all of a sudden the shed door smashes open, and the next thing you know, it's it's bent the kind of the cheap metal kind of brackets that your door's on, basically. Yeah. So you end up, eventually, the screws that are falling out and stuff. So I re-screwed it all, re-leveled it all, made it look lovely, painted the shed, You know, all looks fantastic. Yesterday was literally 5 hours out there just mucking about. So it sounds like both of us did, you know, we were doing the good work yesterday. So
how hot was it while you were doing it?
It wasn't terrible, but it was getting to the point where it's like, this is kind of like, because we've had so much rain and there's been like days and days and days of rain, the air wasn't, today was better because the air was dry, but see, yesterday it was an awful lot more close because all the grass was kind of like evaporating off. So it was almost like, and I've heard of this term. I've heard of this term called something like, there's something you call like I don't know what it's called. It's like basically that there's so much moisture in the air that it's impossible for any more moisture to evaporate properly. So you can literally die of heat. It gets to a certain point and you just kind of like die of heat. And today's been fun because I went out and went into the local garden centre and went to the local garden centre and I bought myself some stuff. But one of the things I bought was an octopus that you plug into your garden hose that's got foamy arms and legs. And then when you turn the garden hose on, the legs kind of go up and down and go everywhere, and the dogs might love it. And I must admit, Arlo's not one of these dogs who's very, very an active boy or anything like that, but he certainly did like...
Did you like it?
He did. He was like, first of all, what's this? What's this? He said in his Scottish accent, what's going on here? And then, of course, he went up to him and went, oh, that's just water, it's fine. So he's kind of sure of it, but, you know, so there we go. Welcome to We're Not Wizards. My name's Richard.
My name's Luke.
We do this every single time, and don't you just love it? If you are joining us for the first time, because I was told about this, if you join us for the first time, we are a podcast that is dedicated to the art of board games and tabletop, maybe a little bit of role playing, a little bit of model play. Well, yeah, because you've talked about your role playing campaign, and I've talked about stuff as well. True. So you know, it is very, very true. And in between that, it is peppered and almost garnished with two middle-aged guys just chatting stuff about things like gardens and everything like that, and potentially one of the biggest events that's going on at the moment, which is the World Cup. But that was all, but I don't want to get too much into that. I do want to. We will talk about the World Cup in some points because I do. You know, the boys, the girls, and everybody else. I must admit, they're kind of doing us proud, the old Scots.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, I literally, I have. I mean, well, okay, we'll mention it now because I was only going to touch on it briefly, but there has been a couple of patriotic tears falling from these eyes when I've read some of the stuff. I've welled up a bit because just like it's things like the open letter yesterday from the Boston Globe, the kind of the chief of police, you know, in Providence, the fact that these boys have like, you know, that they couldn't stay in kind of Boston, so basically they ended up in Providence.
They hired all the school buses.
They hired school buses, but they ended up in Providence, and then they turned around and say, because they knew they were going to be staying in Providence, they then donated they donated a huge chunk of money to like the local charities, and everyone's going to be like, but socialism is bad. We were told socialism is bad. Why are you just coming here, staying here, and then giving us 10 grand towards our kids' cancer charity? And it's just like, I guess because we can. So, very, very proud of the way the Tartan Army's been doing themselves. I must admit, I was pretty proud of their performance against Morocco as well. I thought they were going to end up in their. It's a sad time they lost.
Stupid moment at the beginning, and then after that,
pretty solid.
Really showed you mettle.
Pretty solid. I mean, Scotland's well known, and the Scottish team in general has been known in the past for not being able to cross the ball past the halfway line, as in they seem to be afraid. They seem to get the ball to the halfway line and they drop it back to the defence, and then they'll drop it back to the goalie. I didn't see that at all. I saw guys that were rampant They were ready for it. They were up for it. They were showing their mettle, and they should have been a penalty. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but I would just say,
absolutely should have been.
Absolutely should have been a penalty. And I'm interested to see what happens against kind of Brazil. I must admit, I don't know if this is a kind of across the border kind of thing, because everybody seems to be going on about the Scottish football team and the Tartan Army. But has there been, from what you have seen, has there been many reports about the England fans at all? Because as far as I'm concerned, the whole coverage has been quiet.
I think it's more a case of everybody's been. I put up a post on Facebook yesterday, and it just I've shared it from Instagram or whatever it was, and it summed it up so beautifully to me.
Yeah.
And it just showed loads of the different nations' fans, mixing with other nations' fans and with America and stuff like that. And it just said that the USA didn't deserve the World Cup, but it absolutely needed it.
Yes.
And, because, the USA didn't deserve the World Cup. They're a country that constantly mocks the greatest game in the world. And now they're seeing what football does, I saw a great thing where a guy on Instagram was saying, like, he was talking about the, is it the Haiti keeper or the Cape Verde keeper? Who's the one that had the absolute stormer of a game against?
Oh, it was the Cape Verde, the Cape Verde keeper, because he was,
40-year-old guy, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, he had like 40,000 Instagram followers when he came into the game.
I saw that.
And now today he's at like just shy of 15 million or just over 15 million. And then, this was like 3 days before, or like 3 days after the game. And the guy who was talking about it was an American guy. He was just like, I now understand football.
Yeah.
I understand the impact of football around the world. He said, because this guy, and he said, X amount of followers, he has the game of his life. He's 40 years old. He is, and now he has more Instagram followers than Tom Brady, who's considered the GOAT
of all time. Yeah.
And this guy, a 40-year-old semi-professional footballer playing for his nation in the World Cup, is, doing what he does, has been seen across the world because all of the world's watching. And it just, it's just brilliant.
I just think it's amazing.
It's great.
I just think it's amazing. I think, and we are going to move on for everybody going, oh, everybody's talking about football. But I think there's been quite a few upsets, and there's been an awful lot of
cracking World Cup so far.
There's been an awful lot of these little stories about the underdog stories and constant surprises and stuff like that have been happening, like the Spain game, where Spain romped today. It's Sunday the 21st, and Spain just basically went out and says, no, we're not taking any prisoners today.
Saudi Arabia. It didn't finish 4-0. It was 4-0 last I looked at it.
I think last time I saw it was 5-0. Actually, I think it maybe finished on. So it was an absolute slapping. And there's one of the players, I can't remember his name, and excuse my ignorance, but he's like 18 years old.
Oh, Lamine Yamal. Yeah.
And this is his first World Cup, and he's just like going out. He looks like boy looks like he's just having the time of his life. He looks like he's been asked to go out and play fives with his friends, and he's just like, he's full of energy and full of excitement and full of, and it's just absolutely kind of wonderful.
Yeah, he turned up in the last Euros, and he's just an absolute boy genius. But he carries himself, like a seasoned professional. Yeah. It's just, shrugging off big, airy 6'4" centre backs like they're nothing.
It's just amazing.
Or he just,
It's been very, very good. So I'm looking forward to what's going to happen. England are playing. Is it Tuesday?
Tuesday, yes.
Are you
Garner?
Oh, that should.
It'll be a tough game. Garner aren't a bad team by any stretch, and it's the World Cup, and shit happens. But we looked really good the other day. Certainly the second half. I think
stronger.
Thomas Tuchel told the boys at half time in no uncertain terms that if you play like the way you're playing, you will not win. It's as simple as that. So at least if you're going to go down swinging.
Do you think?
And they came out and played? They played with a freedom, and they really showed what world class players they are. Because there's the England squad this year, when you get to leave Cole Palmer and Phil Foden and Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw and Adam Wharton, when you get to leave those players in the country, let alone on the bench, when you get to leave them back home, then your squad's something pretty bloody special, you know.
Exactly. We'll see.
You know what I love about this year as well? You know, every year we get the whole "it's coming out, it's coming out," and we go into these tournaments with this. Just this, I don't know if it's arrogance or ignorance or just blind stupidity or whatever, but we always, you know, singing that song and we always think, yeah, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. This year, everybody just seems to be on the opinion of like, you know what, we could win it.
Let's see what happens. Let's
you know,
just see. Let's just see.
We have a
what
team
happens,
that is capable of winning the World Cup, and if we won it, nobody would be like. It's not like when Greece won the Euros.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, nobody would be thinking like, bloody hell, England won it, did they? You know, but we're not sitting there going like, oh yeah, this is the team, despite the fact we've got some of the best players in the world in their position, you know.
What's interesting, and this has been like the last couple of World Cups anyway, or even the Euros and stuff like that, is it's like when folk are going like, oh, but how can like these small, you know, how can these small countries kind of be doing so well? And then when you're hearing the commentators, you go, oh, that's that guy, he plays for Wolves. This is this guy, he plays for Leeds. This is this guy. So it's like they're literally, you know, they're literally surrounded in world kind of Premiership football anyway. It's just, it's like, I remember the last time at I think it was the Euros, and it became a bit boring just to see that all the guys that were like kind of scoring goals and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, they play for this, they play for that, they play for Manchester, they play for Man City. And you're just like, all right, okay. So it's literally like everybody, it's like, give it 3 weeks time, they're going to be meeting each other again on a Saturday fixture. So there wasn't really that really wasn't much of a difference. But it's hot today, but it's not as hot as it was at UK Games Expo. Because I want to touch on UK Games Expo because we were able to bump into each other, which was absolutely lovely and absolutely glorious. Which was and probably taken, I would like to say, probably one of the best selfies between the two of us that is going to be used for. It's going to be used for the show art kind of going forward.
So I'm a seasoned UK
you
Games
are
Expo man.
A seasoned Games
so,
Expo.
But this was your first.
It was my
foray
first
into the wonderful world of the NEC. So really, I think I'm supposed to I want to hear really your thoughts on the whole thing in general, as best you could enjoy it, and you know, because obviously. I suppose it'd be good to explain what you were there doing as well. Yeah,
I was volunteering this year. I had already mentioned that my concern about going down by myself was not having a kind of like a base of operations. And I always thought, well, if I'm going to go down, because it is a trek, because you're going quite far, and because things like, you know, everything's just so expensive nowadays that, you know, so I ended up getting my meal ticket on the back of Hachette Games, so I demoed the entire weekend, which some people might say, oh, that's terrible. You go the first time to UK Games Expo and all you're doing is, you know, you're in the same booth again and again and again. But it was enough to give me a good flavour of what the entire event was like. And I was in my own space as well. I had my own little section, I had my own little booth. I was teaching like 3 games. There was like Space Lab, Strange World Above the Clouds, and Zenith. And I'll mention that I'll go back into them a little bit more. But I've been to the NEC a couple of years ago, like a long time ago now, and that was like in a professional capacity. I was there to kind of like as part of work. So it was kind of different, but it was also the same kind of vibe that you were getting. It was almost a kind of come and see us and come and, you know, let me kind of entertain you. Let me take up kind of like half an hour of your time. And that felt kind of special because there was there was so much for everybody to see. There was so much for them to do. I think there was, at least six halls at least, if not more than that.
No, there's four halls.
Yeah,
halls.
but they was split into little bits. So there was
yeah.
a lots of kind of like different areas, and walking around it was like a huge kind of event. So it was nice. I had my own little area. I had people coming by. I was teaching them kind of games. I did get to wander a bit. I obviously didn't get to wander as much as I wanted to. We ended up staying at a different hotel than what we were expecting to stay at because, and I'm not going to name the hotel by name for various different reasons, but I think they've caught on to the fact that people were kind of getting rooms, and then they were sharing. They were having like 3 people in a room.
Really?
And I think what happened is they caught on to the fact that people were like paying basically for a room, but then splitting it kind of 3 ways. I think at the last minute they kind of went, no, you're not able to stay here. You're only like 2 people to stay here.
God forbid.
You're only
God forbid people do something like that.
2 people can stay here, not 3. So there was a last minute change. But I must admit, the hotel that I stayed for had this beautiful exchange in the hotel that I mean, one of my biggest apprehensions was going around the food thing, Luke, as you're aware. You know, as you've been aware with aircon, it is like you've seen kind of firsthand how much of a pain it was. So going down there and getting shifted to another hotel, it was kind of like, well, what are we going to do? So we arrived at the hotel, and we were late at night, and it was me and Lee, and we were there, and the guy was like, the guy that was there that was helping, he was at the bar. He was like, okay, well, you've just got time before we sort out kind of like kitchen arrangements and stuff like that. We're going to shut the kitchen down for the night. And I explained to him that of the old gluten and dairy stuff. And he's like, okay, give me a second. I'm going to get the chef. I'll check what the chef's going to come out. And lo and behold, the chef came out and he was angry. He wasn't happy. And he's like, and it's like, oh, okay, so I know it's like, you know, it's 20 to 9. You're maybe not wanting to cook something. But he's like, I'm not happy about this. He says, I was kind of told, you know, I was told that, you know, and my understanding is that if we get anybody that's got any kind of intolerances, he says, I like to know when they book and stuff like that so I can get special stuff in. And so he was angry that nobody had told him, and he was like, and then I says, well, this is the situation. And he went, well, you can have this, this, and this. I says, okay, great, I'll have the chickpea curry. So he came out with this chickpea curry. And then he came out every couple of times just to check. It was amazing. And I enjoyed it. And I really did, you know, even though it was like the vegetarian kind of option, it was fine. It was gluten-free, it was dairy-free, I was a happy man. Then he comes out and says, oh, you staying for breakfast? It's like, yeah, we're going to be getting breakfast. He says, okay, well, when you come down tomorrow morning, give me a shout. I'll come out and I'll make sure you're looked after. And he did come out the next morning. But he says, like, before he went back into the kitchen that night, he says, do you like sausages? I was like, yeah, of course. He says, are you going to have a fry-up? I was like, yeah, sure. So he says, I'm going to take some sausages out and defrost them so you can have them as part of your fry-up, gluten-free sausages. I'll make sure everything's okay. So next morning, I go down to the breakfast, and one of the waiters comes up to me. They're all attentive, wonderful people. And he says, oh, and you're like, you know, it's like, say, well, you just ask me. And I was like, okay, well, I asked the chef. He comes out, he's got like a box of like gluten-free cornflakes and a couple of like these sachets of gluten-free cornflakes. He says, I got this for you. Is this okay? And I was like, I almost hugged him, man. I must admit, I almost kind of like just cover you. You beautiful, beautiful man. So like,
he really wanted to look after you.
Oh, it was just, I mean, it was the Garner Hotel, Birmingham, Southeast, that's what they were called. And just alleviated. You have no idea how much stress that absolutely alleviated from me for the rest, knowing that I could get breakfast, knowing that I could get a dinner if I wanted to. And that was a concern going to kind of Games Expo, because I must admit that the information that was on the expo regarding gluten-free stuff was literally all the same as like, we don't know if we've got gluten-free options, and if we do, there's a chance of contamination. I was just like, well, you know what I was like, you know. But then we went to the
just a get out of free jail card, isn't it?
It is. But then we went to the food trucks after the day, and I was like, well, here we go. It's investigation time, and there's queues everywhere, and it's like, I don't want to have to like spend my time queuing to speak to somebody just to find out that I can't do it. But thank goodness for the Greek food truck, because they did like Greek fish and chips and everything.
No, Indian fish and chips.
Was it Indian? Yeah.
Indian spiced.
Indian spice, sorry. And but this was a Greek food truck. It was like, you could have Indian fish and chips. I was like, okay. And they went, is it gluten-free and dairy-free? Yes. The only thing you can't have is you can't have the cheese. Everything else. The halloumi. You can't have that. You can have everything else, though. So that's what we did it. We had fish and chips, didn't we, Luke?
Bloody good.
Where did we have the fish and chips? What kind of romantic place did you take me to eat our fish and chips that evening?
To the Hilton Hotel. That's where.
Where exactly at the Hilton
The
Hotel?
alfresco part of the Hilton Hotel.
And where exactly? Expand on where we ended up eating our meal.
Well, I mean, it's a bit makeshift, obviously, because they're just trying to do the best they can. But we found a nice flat surface that we could stand around and wasn't an inconvenience for many people at any given moment.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it was an unusual. For sort of garden alfresco furniture, it was unusual because it looked like a recycling bin, but I can only assume that's not what it was. But obviously, lots of people thought that's what it was because they kept asking if we could move so they could put their rubbish.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't blame them because it looked just like a bin.
It did look like a bin.
No fool on them. That was
It was a bin, Luke. We ate dinner.
It was actually a bin.
We ate dinner on a bin.
Do you know how many times I've actually eaten off a bin? Me and my friends, when we used to go to the NFL every like 3 times a year, and there was this. We used to go to a pub just outside Liverpool Street Station, and then we'd almost always go to this KFC, and we'd always eat our KFC off the bin. Or a bin in the walls out the front, and a McDonald's. We had a McDonald's outside King's Cross off the bin. Bins are a good place to eat off.
And as it turns out, meeting people as well, it's incredibly easy, the number of people you could just meet who are asking to use the bin, and then you could tell them. But it was
have a little chat,
say hello to them. It was all kind of good.
Exchange pleasantries across recycled refuse.
I mean, that was it, and I mean, that was but so. As far as UK Games Expo goes, as far as it goes regarding the food, I was in a safe place. I was in a happy place, and then during the day, I made myself a sandwich. I brought basically my pack in. I had like rolls. I had gluten-free rolls, and I had peanut butter. I brought peanut butter and jam in my suitcase. And every morning without fail, right, I made myself a peanut butter and jam roll. And I had crisps. I had some gluten-free biscuits. It was all very, very good fun. So that was kind of cool. So that was fine. I must admit, Saturday was very, very busy. And I expected it to be busy, but I went for a wander a couple of times. And I mean, you warned me it was going to be busy. But I don't think I was prepared.
Saturday's the worst for it too. Saturday's like busy.
It was busy.
I'm glad I wasn't there on the Saturday, in many ways. Because it is too much.
It was kind of interesting because there was a lot of families there. But there was like a report on the BBC which I think kind of pulled a lot of people in, and I also think that when you're basically offering people kind of like I think, is it kids get under a certain age kind of getting free? Is that right?
Under 11.
Under 11 getting in. So if it's
11 or under.
And considering how close it is to like the transport links and that, and how there's really, really good transport links, I can imagine if you're like a dad, mum, parent or whatever who's interested in some board game action, and you've got a couple of, you've got an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old, I can't think it would be, considering the cost of how much it is to get into everywhere else at the moment, I think a little trip to the UK Games Expo would probably worked out to be not too expensive.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things.
In the grand scheme of things, yeah, absolutely. That's what I would have thought. It was too hot. They did turn on the air conditioning. A couple of bits of feedback, because that was a good thing. I met so many people who'd been on the show before over the years, and that I hadn't met them in person, so that was kind of cool, because you didn't have any of that small talk kind of nonsense. It was straight into how you doing, how you keeping, how's everything like that. I saw Cesar from Alley Cat Games. There was Lewis Shaw, who I hadn't seen in ages. He's now working for Rebellion. I saw Benji from Rebellion. I saw the man from Tetix Games. There was Mark from Dream Big Games. Just like a whole load of people. A couple of things that folks said was that that there was an awful lot more kind of browsers, and in previous events when they came down, there was obviously folk who were like, "Oh, I'm not the board games. What are these?" As opposed to people coming in and saying, "Right, I've got a specific list of people I want to go around." So there was some people felt there was a little bit. It was busier, but it was maybe the concentration of kind of the demographic that you would normally see at UK Expo was maybe a little bit more diluted, and there was a bit more explaining. Really? Yeah, there's a couple of them says a bit more explaining going on as to what their actual game was about. So the sales were okay, but they weren't as they were maybe on par with kind of like previous years as well, which I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah. What were your? There was huge. There's huge, massive stands. Was there any stands that you decided to flock to that you definitely needed to go and pay a visit?
No, really. I was there Friday in the end after my vehicular fiascos on the Thursday, so I ended up going on the Friday for work, and then Sunday with my mates and Elliot.
Yeah.
So on the Sunday, we literally walked the halls. We just walked our whole way around everything methodically. There was nothing. There was a few things I picked up on the Friday. There was a few games that I'd been like, oh, if I see that, I'll grab that. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember what the hell they even were now. TT Combat's the only one I ever flocked to.
Yeah.
For Rumble Slam and stuff.
Yeah.
But even then, I only picked up a couple of star players for Rumble Slam, and some bits for Carnivale. But what did I get? Yeah, there was the only game I didn't get that I wanted to get, and it was only because I kept seeing it at such varied prices, was Fliptoons. I've been wanting to pick up Fliptoons because it looks like a really nice little card game.
Yeah. Okay.
And I kept seeing it like between sort of 15 and 22 quid. And I kept thinking, I'll pick that up at some point. Yeah, I'll grab that at some point. Every time I saw it, I was just like, I was always kind of on the way to something or something like that. And then I just kind of forgot to get it on the Sunday.
It's just like wandering about.
It was one of those ones that I didn't care because I knew I'll get it at some point anyway. It didn't matter.
Yeah. I got the ones I got. I got Fetching Feathers. And I got Chris. From Chris, and I got Dots as well, because Dots intrigues me. Because
how do I know Dots?
That's also Chris as well.
Oh, yeah. I know the one.
Yeah. So it's kind of like an abstract kind of looking game. So that kind of really seemed interesting. And Fetching Feathers, I think it shares an awful lot of DNA with Zuli, which is the previous game they released. So I'm just really, really interested in kind of playing that. So that was fun. I mean, as I say, it was really, really busy. But I think if I was wandering the halls, I probably would have like ended up taking a little bit of a wander outside and had a little break to myself. But I think because it was like I was in a set space, I was demoing 3 different games, so that wasn't a case there was like a queue. So it wasn't any time. It's like either there's going to be 3 groups of people sitting at the tables here, or there's going to be less than that. So at that point, Sunday I noticed was certainly an awful lot quieter than the Saturday, and I don't know if that was just because the people who are here for the entire weekend would generally spend like Saturday, because Saturday night I ended up I met like some really good friends, like I met like my friend Oliver, and I met Adam, Oliver's Tabletop Games blog, Adam's from Punchboard. I met a really...
Oliver, the guy with glasses that does stuff for the Dice Tower. We used to do stuff for the Dice
No.
Tower. Is that Oliver? No,
no, he's Oliver's Tabletop Games blog. He's German. Incredibly. I don't know why I mentioned that. He's, World Cup.
He's German.
He's German, yes.
Yes.
Really old. It's really funny. Really old friend I know from video game days called Richard, who we kind of met each other for the first time, which was kind of strange. But it was kind of like, "Where are you?" "Oh, I'm at the Hatchet stand." He came over and he's like, "All right," and there wasn't any of that. It was like, "Hey," it was straight into a big hug, and he's a big man, so I felt safe. I felt safe. It's like getting one of your hugs, not as obviously as good as your hugs. And then the next thing it does, like, there's a guy walking past by himself, and I'm like, that looks like Kieran. And Kieran's like, he's one of the locals. He used to be a regular to the gaming group in Dunfermline. He's just walking past randomly. It's like, what the hell are you doing here? And it turns out that one of his mates was demoing for the Cyberpunk kind of TCG game. So he was down staying with them. They were like very, very last minute, which was kind of interesting. But it was just really nice to meet kind of so many people that I'd kind of met in passing. It's like I met your Mark from Ninja Geek Games, Frank West. I saw Frank. I saw Frank at the press event actually, and that was kind of interesting. But in general, it was really really
busy.
Was he
showing off his penguins?
He hadn't talked about his penguins yet. He hadn't actually announced it officially. He'd only kind of like, I'm interested to see how that plays out, because I was under the impression that after Emberleaf and the wonders of Emberleaf, I don't think you've not played Emberleaf yet, have you?
No, because you describe it so terribly. You make it sound like a bad game, which is probably it's probably a really good game.
It's on BGA, so you can check it out. Shut up. It's on BGA now, so you can check it out yourself. But yeah, it was good. The press event was interesting. I do want to touch on the press event. I felt like I was walking about, and when I went to Aircon ages and ages ago, and there was a press event, this was like years and years ago when we went to the press event, I was kind of like, I knew pretty much 75%, 85% of the folk that are there. This year, when we went to Aircon earlier this year, I could still say that as far as the press event went, I could recognise a good 65-70% of the people there. I knew who to say hello to. I could go up, they would know me.
Yeah.
The press event at UK Games Expo was literally me standing with Frank West and going, I don't fucking know anybody here. There's literally no folk going past. There's a couple of annoying people who are live filming or live streaming the show. There's one guy, and you know who you are. I hope you listen, because you've really pissed me off. He was walking around with his phone in front of him and some kind of big flashlight. And I was like, if you walk past me again with that, that's coming off. I'm sorry, I'm switching that off and I'm taking out your AA batteries out of that because you're just walking about.
Was it Luke Hector? Was it? Yeah.
No, I saw Luke Hector.
No, yeah.
I saw Luke Hector. Yeah. I'm not gonna say. Nah, I saw him, said hello, and asked him why he didn't like games.
Why are you so angry? Like,
why is that? Do you need to, any mouth could work. But what the whole thing was that I was walking around this press event, I didn't recognise anybody at all. I recognise a lot of the vendors behind it, and I recognise a lot of the folks standing behind the desks. And again, it was nice to say hello to them.
That's the people you want to know.
But the folk that were wandering about, stopping people and kind of gathering stuff, I was just standing there going, I don't know,
Did you feel like we now should feel when we go into a nightclub?
Yes.
Is that how you felt?
Yeah, that's how it felt. So I didn't know what the music...
Same sort of feeling.
It was part of the thing that...
I'm not supposed to...
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm far too old to be here. It did inspire me to write those words, recently, that I put on the blog about basically...
You went sort of briefly board game viral. I think it was beautiful.
It was lovely. It was just... But I did literally feel like I am standing in a club. I don't know anybody here. I have no idea what music's going on. None of the familiar faces are here. They're all bright and shiny and lovely, and they're all miming along to a song I have no idea what it's talking about. But then I used to be quite, I've kind of my attitude towards kind of the influencer crowd in general is basically kind of, it's gone from these people aren't doing anything worthwhile to kind of oh my goodness, I'm so glad I am not part of that crowd just now and having to chase the eternal algorithm rainbow, because it just sounds like absolute bollocks, and that's been absolute.
It looks like a miserable existence. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of all these people that have taken home and they've got their halls and everything like that, and it's just you've got to play through these, and I know you're going to do your photos and you're going to do your videos and you're even going to write some words on Instagram or wherever you're doing it, but you're going to have to play through all of these, or at least even sit there and put all the content together. Whether you are actually playing the games, it's entirely, I understand, but the kind of the millstone you must be putting around your neck when you're taking home about 20 or 30 games, it just seems to me oh my goodness. So if, felt sorry. In all fairness, I did meet quite a few. Met quite a few of them as they kind of traversed their way through the Hachette stand to meet with Karina as well, who's they're in charge of all the kind of the marketing kind of thing. So yeah, I'd see them. It was just I guess it circles back to, would I do it? Would I go back to UK Games Expo again? And the answer is yes. If I was volunteering again, I'd probably not volunteer all 3 days. I would probably ask for half a day on the Friday or half day on the Sunday, just to kind of wander around and see everybody. Because I done it up as literally as I went, right, I've worked, I was working in inverted commas, but it was 9 in the morning till 6 at night, both days.
It's not working, just sitting down and play Shackleton's Base for an entire weekend.
Oh
no, you weren't playing. What was it? You were Strange Worlds or whatever. Not Shackleton's Base. You didn't get that.
I don't know. Yeah, but the games are fun. Probably my favourite one is Zenith, I think. That's one I've nearly picked that up a few times now. I think it's really good. I think you should. I think Elliot would really like it. It's a nice little kind of tug of war game. Zenith was really, really nice. It looked lovely on the table. It was really funny because we were playing it with we played with the big giant version. And
Right.
the box that you get for the big giant version is obviously, it's like the size of Cleopatra or something. It's a huge box. So everybody's sitting down going, oh, and I eventually said to the guys, look, if we should probably get the small version out as well, so I can just show people what the components look like. Because they're playing this and folk are like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
It's pretty big, though.
They probably think that's what they're going to get.
That's what they're going to get. Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
They think they're going to get something the size of a small Egyptian queen.
Exactly. They're thinking about, I can build a house using this. So, the Zenith box is the Zenith box is literally only about 4 or 5. It's about, it's about 8 inches long. It's your standard kind of 25 by 25 kind of box. It's not a huge box. So I took time to say, I actually had it set up at the same time. So as people were playing, I was like, right, just to let you know, this is what the actual size of the game is. And they were like, oh, right, okay. And that, you could see it clicking in their mind and they deciding, actually, I might go ahead and get it. But it's a lovely little kind of, it was a really, really easy game to explain. It was just okay, you've got cards. You're gonna play in 3 different zones. You've got your main zone where you're gonna play a card and that's gonna exert influence over one of the 5 was it 5? Maybe 6. Really good teacher, as you can tell. Planets, and you're gonna draw the planet counter towards you, and then once it gets down to your base, you basically claim it, and you've got to get 3 planets the same, or 4 different planets, or 5 of any planet at all. But you can play a card there, and it has influence on that particular planet, or you can play your card into the ambassador area, which is exchanging cards for kind of standard kind of currency, Zenith, or getting the commander token, or you can play it into kind of the laboratory section, which basically you're almost effectively building not a little engine, but you're kind of able to kind of build up kind of additional bonuses that you can collect, which is going to effectively potentially give you the edge over the competition as you kind of play. And it's specifically designed to be played in 2 players. You can play it 4 players, but in 4 players, basically you're both taking almost you're splitting the board in half, and you're controlling your area, and your kind of your co-person, they're kind of playing their side of the board as well. But it was I think the indication of a good game is the fact that everybody that demoed it, there wasn't one person or one group that got quarter of the way through the game and then said, right, that's enough, we're done. Everybody, literally everybody who played that game kind of finished it all the way to the end. Space Lab was really nice. It was you're playing cards into your own, you're building a lab in space. Space Lab.
Space Lab, I think, has very Castle Combo kind of feel to it.
I think it's designed by the same people. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it probably is, yes.
Yeah, it's basically...
But I think it has a very similar vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, that was lovely. That was nice. Again, lots of people. Again, very, very easy to teach. And there was only a couple of edge cases. The strangest one, and I think the one that suffered for its art, because the game itself is lovely and fun, and again, it's like a little tableau builder. It is. It's almost like sharing a kind of a Castle Combo DNA, where you're placing cards into a tableau, and at the end of the game, you kind of score. You score cards based on how many of a particular card there are, and if they interact and score with each other. Yes,
associations with each other.
Yeah. And that was cool. But I personally thought the artwork was good. It was a little bit left field, a bit strange, but yeah.
I like the Strange Worlds artwork. Yeah, I think it's good. But yes, it's if somebody turned around to me and said, "God, I can't stand the look of Strange Worlds," I wouldn't begrudge them for it. I'd be like,
No.
yeah,
No.
that's,
If they turned it, if they
it's
said
not going to be for everyone.
if they said Zenith, they didn't like the artwork for Zenith, then I'd be probably taking them up to a balcony and pushing them over it. To be honest, I mean, taste is taste. You ain't got no taste, basically, and that's the way it is. I think one of the things I've asked you previously, in previous years, was there a game of the event that kind of everybody was kind of after?
Yeah, there was. I'm not entirely sure why,
Oh, okay.
but I think just because it was a bit hard to get hold of. But Tenby
Yes.
was the one,
The reason
that I think was the game to get hold of.
is there a reason you're saying why? Because you don't sound convinced. You don't sound convinced that it was the game that was kind of worthwhile getting hold of. Have you played it, or have you heard of folk playing it?
No, I haven't played it. I think I've just heard enough to know that it's a charming little game. It's a nice game, but it's really not that different to say like Cascadia or it's just it's just a nice game. It's not a game you need to run across the hall to make sure you can get. Just
I heard of that.
If it wasn't for the fact that it was a little bit hard to get hold of,
Do you think there would have been
I think most people wouldn't have rushed for it.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. You know what board gamers are like. As soon as something becomes a little bit tricky to get hold of,
Everybody goes crazy.
they'll run to it. They will. Yeah, exactly. They run to it like bloody seagulls trying to catch a fallen chip. And it's
Mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine?
Yeah. And not. It's just not to say that it's not worth. Well, yeah, it just isn't. It's not one of those ones that's worth rushing for. Even if you didn't manage to get hold of it, it's not like it's one that's like, oh, this is a limited print run and this is the last 50 in the world, or the company's going out of business, so it'll never be printed again. Blah blah blah. It's not what it was. So
yeah,
just play.
I'm of the opinion that it's potentially going to be another game that in 6 months' time you're going to see it everywhere. That is going to be it's going to be for sale. I think give it a couple of months' time. I think it's probably going to be sale in the second-hand groups.
Because you'll get people who have bought it and just go, oh yeah, that was a really fun little game, or oh actually I prefer in that massively bloated category of nice light to medium weight filler plus games,
Machikoro and stuff like that kind of thing.
There's just a fucking dime a dozen.
Yeah, nothing to it.
So I don't see it. I can't imagine like Tenby is going to end up on that many people's top 100 or top 10 games in 5 years' time, sort of thing. But I perfectly happy to be completely wrong.
I hope that you are wrong, and that we end up having this conversation. You have to sing the "I'm very sorry" song because that's how.
I don't know what the words are because I've never had to sing it.
I know. I know. In fact, I know that, and maybe it's about time you maybe kind of sung it at some point. I mean, to be kind of perfectly honest,
Maybe.
I don't think there was anything. There wasn't a game. There was Cult of the Lamb, which I saw that, and I just went.
There was just demoing a Kickstarter, wasn't it? It's just.
I think the only other thing that kind of that was Kickstarter buzz, or crowdfunding buzz, was SHUG. And SHUG came out I think SHUG came out of nowhere.
I saw SHUG because I reached out to them wanting them to come to GameFound for the Pledge Manager because they had their preview up. And I saw SHUG and I was like, what on earth is this?
Yes.
It looks bloody weird.
Yes.
This is going to do really well.
Yes.
I could just see it. I could just see that it was going to do well. And it's done pretty good,
I think it's done. I think it's done $1 million or something like that. Last time I checked. I mean, it was one of.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Okay. Last time I checked, it was like well over 500 grand or whatever. It was, But I suspected that they wanted that it was going to be. We think we're going to make $1 million plus or whatever. You know, very. You know, they've done some very clever marketing videos for it and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, they've kind of they've obviously, I don't know if where they get the kind of the pockets from. I thought it was kind of like I just remember it must have been the Saturday, and they must have been doing an event on the Saturday, because their stand was probably only about maybe 20 meters away from us at the very, very most. And I remember just like, as I try to teach something, I start to hear chanting, and it's just like a group of people chanting "Shug, shug, 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 shug," and I went, nah, this is going to go absolutely. And it was at that point I went, I'm just going to check how they're kind of doing, because I was kind of getting emails, and I spoke to the guys at, I did speak to the guys at Aircon, and then I saw them at the press event, and I just like went, congratulations. And it was, I think it was very, very close to kind of like breaking about 800,000 or 900,000. But I think it's ended up like doing 1.3 million, which for a first created kind of project is, you know, is again, I'll just have to see how it how it does.
Am I missing something? Is this an IP that I'm just not aware of, or whatever?
No, but it kind
it's
of
just completely.
It goes on the kind of the Monty Python.
It's such an unusual styling and stuff like that, and the artwork's so bizarre in some cases. You know, I just kind of thought, oh, this must be some like fucking web series or web comic
no, it's
animation that I've not heard of. You know,
no, it's all about. I mean, a story
which is a testament to, you know, the look of it in general, the polish of it, because I looked at it assuming it was something that had existed for a long time that I just didn't know about. You know, not just some game that's, you know, fallen out the sky.
I must admit, I was the same, because when I first saw it and seen it, I was like, where have I seen this for? And then I thought, is this one's? I was under the impression, or when I first saw it, I says, has this been some kind of indie Steam game that's been there? That's been about.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I was
Steam,
thinking.
kind of Mario Party,
kind of completely missed me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought, and I was like, because I looked at the artwork and I was like, well, this isn't. These boys aren't messing around. This is some serious kind of strange kind of looking artwork. But it turns out the whole story behind it is it's a game that they invented when they were kids, and the gist of it,
I missed that.
The gist of it is that, or the gist, depending if you like your just or your gist, is that it's basically like, it sounds an awful lot like Mario Party, that you're going round the board, carrying out certain tasks and just having the kind of the best time. And it just seems to be one of these games that I think every now and again, I think that a game just hits the spot, as you were saying earlier on about Tenby, that everybody decides that they want to go ahead and they've got to do it. They want to jump in there and enjoy it. And do you know what? So, you know, fair play to the boys.
Well
fair
done,
play.
well
You know,
done
if
to them,
they've managed to find a niche bit and everybody's kind of jumping on it and folk are kind of like after it and everything like that, then well done. You know, that's what I say. And this time, I like a bit of success. I like to see somebody that's never created a game before kind of storm it. You know, it was the same with, you know, Frank West and, you know, all these, you know, Mark Nigelinger, folk like that. That's what it's about. It's about getting an idea and bringing to it, and not just kind of like, you know, not just using it for support. Support your marketing as kind of like time goes on.
I'll tell you another one that actually did, I think, very well.
All right, okay.
Which did actually slightly surprise me in the end. So, you know, Starcraft, the video game. So
yeah.
Archon released the Starcraft miniatures game, and it certainly sounded like it was. I'm not a Starcraft person, so I had no kind of vested interest in Starcraft whatsoever. Other than I saw some of the minis and I was like, oh, I'd quite like to paint some of those minis, you know. And they're from Archon, so I knew they'd be really good quality because I've got all the Masters of the Universe stuff, which they do. And the pre-order had gone really well because that was on GameFound, and they took up the actual base pre-order, not a crowdfunding thing, just a pre-order. Gone really good, and I'd seen lots of people getting it in and stuff like that. Everybody seemed very happy, and obviously at UK Games Expo, they were hard in. They had boxes upon boxes of Stargate. And then kind of the end of Friday, I was just sitting there looking at the stand thinking, you've got a lot of boxes left.
Yeah.
This is like, it hadn't sort of sold like I thought it might have. And, I'd said to the guys when we were going back up on the Sunday, that I'd actually quite like to pick up just a box of the Marines because I thought they were really cool. And I wanted to paint them like a bit like astronauts because they've got these helmets that you can have with or without the visor, and they've got a very kind of astronaut kind of bubble sort of head. So I said, when we go past Archon, I'll pick up one of the just unit boxes of Marines. Well, they'd all sold out.
Wow.
And loads of stuff had sold out on the Sunday.
Wow.
So I was like, okay,
Yeah. So
maybe it was a case of it took the Saturday crowd to get it going, or maybe they just had that much fucking stock for the Friday that they never looked like they had run out at any point. Or the other thing is sometimes it's the big box stuff that sells a bit later because nobody wants to carry the fucking shit around for the entire weekend. You got this. You got some massive box and you're just like, I'm not carrying this around. I'll pick it up tomorrow.
Exactly.
I don't want.
You don't even carting back Cleopatra everywhere or something like that. I mean, that'd be a big box to be carting about.
That is literally one of the bargains of the century. That.
Yeah.
I still couldn't believe it when he said to me. So just for the explanation, obviously, of the thousands of people listening, in my village, we had yard sales beginning in May, I think it was. Yeah, sounds like about right. Beginning of May, and we had a yard sale, and the kids were selling off a whole load of their unwanted toys. And when I told them that any money made was theirs to keep and do what they wished with, they suddenly became a lot more open to selling a lot of the stuff that they were previously clinging onto. So yeah, we had a yard sale. Then this guy came down. I'm trying to remember what he had in his hand. Oh, I know what he had in his hand. He had a copy of Forbidden Desert and Forbidden... I'm pretty sure it was Forbidden Island.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm pretty sure it was the both of them.
Classics.
And I saw him and just went, oh, where the fuck did you get them? He was like, oh, just, not my neighbour, but the one on the other side.
Wow.
I said, good. I said, have you ever played them? And he's like, no. I said, cracking little games.
Yeah,
real good. Absolutely great. You enjoy them. And didn't think too much more of it. And my wife and my kids, they love going to car boot sales and stuff. And for the most part, I find it very tiring because it's the same shit being sold by everybody. Everybody seems to have the same tat that they're all selling. Yeah. And then you have some stuff you just think, why are you even trying to fucking sell that? Just,
it's half a jam sandwich.
Nobody's buying it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Half a gluten-free peanut butter and jam sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Well, time's going to tell on that.
So yes, I wandered up the road to him, and I saw this plastic tub that had a whole bunch of stuff in it, and there was the new version Mojito Cleopatra of the Society of Architects, and I was like, Jesus Christ! And a little 2-player Cosmos game called Kahuna.
Oh, Kahuna's brilliant. Kahuna's good fun. Yeah, Kahuna's a lovely game.
So I said to him, I said to Elliot, I said, just go and ask him what he wants for these. And he came back, I think it was for £5, because it was £3 for Society of Architects, for Cleopatra, and £2 for Kahuna.
That's mad.
And I was like, I have the Emperor, the big all singing all dancing version of Cleopatra, and in fact I have the Days of Wonder version as well. But I was just like, I'm pretty sure Richard's not got this.
No.
So I think I bought it immediately thinking I'll send it to Richard or one of the guys or whatever. You know, if Richard doesn't want it, there'll be somebody I can give this to. You know, but for the sake of £3,
that's ridiculous.
I couldn't believe it.
I thought it was a £5. I didn't realise it was £3. I mean,
no, yeah, it was £3 for that.
That's
and then, £2 for mine. And like, it was. I kept thinking I'm going to see my neighbour at some point because I think it was his son.
Oh,
had, was
yeah.
And I thought I'm going to see him at some point. He's going to be like, "Oh, my son was fucking furious."
Mental.
Because sort of giving away these
giving all these stuff away.
But I don't think he was because I saw his son there. So so yeah. Hey,
and now it's here. His loss. Basically, my gain. It's lovely. It's actually just sitting down there. There's a big pile of games there, which is gonna got through, which is going to be added to, kind of pretty shortly. One of the worst things.
What did you pick up from the UKGE? So what did you actually come back with?
I came back with.
Obviously, it's Cleopatra's Society.
Fetching feathers, dots.
But yeah.
I saw Dave at Sinister Fish.
Oh yeah.
So he
gave you Yonder.
Yeah, I got Yonder. So I'm very, very interested to see how that plays. And I also saw Andrew from the Old King's Crown. So
yeah,
me and Andrew, we've been speaking back and forward for ages and ages and ages. And when I previewed Old King's Crown like ages and ages ago, I was like, yeah, that seems great. Really like it, like the premise. It's very, very kind of at that time I'd been playing Oath and things like that, so I understood what it was doing, what it was trying to do. And then I was saying to Andrew, come on the show, let's have a chat. And basically I think then shut up and sit down happened. And when that happens, you know what I mean, you don't need anything else, do you? You don't need any kind of real other kind of marketing. So and then I met him at UK Games.
When you get blood on the clock tower.
And then I went, I saw Andrew. I saw Andrew at Eerie Idle Games, and I says, "How's it going?" And he instantly recognised me. Well, probably not because I had my hat on. You know, I didn't get stopped. 50,000 people in that place. How many times did they get stopped going, "Oh, look at your podcast, I know your podcast." But then it's one of these things, it's like, I wouldn't want to be actively stopped by people because, I wasn't in there.
I would.
No.
I want to be stopped.
So he was like saying, well, have you, I says, I've really not had time to kind of sort out the podcast stuff. I says, that's okay, I've really not had time to kind of get my copy of Old King's Crown. So I've got a copy of Old King's Crown. So that's all right. So we're going to be playing that. I'm really looking forward to seeing that, and I'm really looking forward to if it works out well, I'm going to also pick up the expansion as well. Methinks, because I think it's going to be one of these games that you just kind of keep there and you kind of jump into and jump out of and play. It's one of these kind of multi-generational kind of faction things. It's going to have to find space though with the Apocalypse expansion for the Others board game. Because...
Oh, did you get the Apocalypse one?
Yeah, I'll tell you. You know how? Because somebody...
I don't think I've actually got the Apocalypse.
Have you not?
Or maybe I have.
No,
I think I have.
Well,
I know there's one thing I haven't got. I can't remember what it is, but I don't think it is the Apocalypse.
Is it the old? There's the kind of the old faithful, so the new faithful expansion or something like that. There's I don't know. I'll need to go down it and actually check kind of like what I've got and what I've not got. I'm pretty sure I've got quite a lot of it so far. But anyway, it was one of these things that like on occasion I scout about eBay and I'm just like, I'll have a look and see if anybody's got like the Others, any of the stuff for sale just in case. And I had a look and they had it on sale for almost touching £40. And I was just like, that's a bit too much for a game that I know I can't really easily get hold of, but it's a bit too much. And then I had a notification cheeky little eBay coming in and saying, do you want it for
With an offer.
do you want it for much cheapness instead? And I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to get that. I still need to play the others. I mean, that's an entire shame.
I was going to say, you haven't,
actually
played it. The
but that
basic.
doesn't mean I'm not allowed to collect the rest of it, for goodness sake. I mean, I'm definitely
Absolutely
allowed
true.
I'm absolutely collect. But I also now need to go down the kind of the route of I'm going to play it, yeah. I'm going to get out of there. But yeah, so I've got quite a lot. Oh, I picked up Tag Team.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
You'd already played that, though.
I had played it. I played it at Aircon because I played in the tournament, and I do kind of like it. And they've got a new Arthurian Legends version coming out. But then I went, I've played the original. I really liked it. I really, really liked it. And then I've not actually got my own copy, so I've managed to get a copy of that. I also got a game called Omens as well. But those weren't at UK Games Expo. I picked up Tag Team and Omens kind of much later, so I've not... Yeah, it was kind of like... Do you know what? I went with the attitude that I don't really want to spend a whole load of money because it'd be difficult to kind of, again, didn't want to go and spend a vast amount of money seeing if it was my first time. And I do come back and I do see like people that have like, they've got huge haul pictures that they put, and I'm just like, how are you even able to do that? That's absolutely ridiculous. Stop that kind of immediately. But I'm looking forward to it. Next one is, of course, Tabletop Scotland. That's the next big one we're going to. That'll be the first week in September. So looking forward to kind of that. What was your overall impression? I mean, in UK Games Expo, it was just like, well, this is just the same as always. There wasn't really anything that was very, very kind of much different. Was it all pretty much kind of business as usual? Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah.
It felt the biggest it ever felt.
Yeah.
By a little bit extra, definitely. I still think, as always, there's still loads of stuff they could do better. But yeah, I thought it was, it was great to see so many big, UK Games Expo for a long time sort of suffered with companies not coming from like the other side of the Atlantic and stuff like that. And that's a lot less than it was the case, So yeah, I think it's great in that sense, and I thought it was a really good show from everything I could see of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm interested to see, or I am thinking about next year. But as I say, I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced I can justify it from a money point of view, considering how far I'm travelling and stuff like that, and the hotel prices and everything, and just going right. I'm just.
The hotels at UK Games Expo, they're just ridiculous.
There's no need for it at all.
Absolutely ridiculous.
No.
I think the biggest problem for the UK Games Expo now is it's to go and have that convention experience.
Yes.
I think is, absolutely doable. Obviously, don't get me wrong, because you've got the whole Hilton and loads of open gaming in the NEC in the tournament hall and stuff. So you can absolutely go and have that convention. It's just so goddamn expensive to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got like Aircon, Telford and Aircon and stuff like, and the Handycons and stuff like that, where you can really just get that, convention experience of sitting down and playing loads of games, having a laugh with people. It just doesn't need to be about the whole retail side of things so much, So yeah.
As I say, I think if I went again, I think it would be the same. I think I'm quite happy to demo and volunteer. It kind of like it was mentally quite tiring, but I didn't feel also at the same time I was like, oh, I need to now stay up until goodness knows what time. I think maybe that was one of the reasons why Sunday wasn't as busy, because I think there was a lot of people that stayed up a long time on the Saturday night and played games at the Hilton until goodness knows what time. You know,
Sunday. If you don't have the proclivities to wish to run to get a copy of Tenby, or care about this game that might go out as limited stock or whatever. If you don't care about any of that, and you just want to go and experience the convention and have a good look around and maybe pick yourself up some cool stuff, just go on the Sunday.
Yeah.
It's just so much more chilled out.
Yeah.
You can move down the aisles. You're not constantly having to get out of the way of what seemed a ridiculous amount of mobility scooters this year. There were so bloody many people going around powered by electric four wheels. Just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like the idiots with bags on their back aren't ignorant enough. The amount of fucking mobility scooters was unbelievable. Not to say that they shouldn't be there. It just seemed weird that there were so many this time. It was just, fully expect there's plenty of people who need something like that to get around, but just like where have they been? All the rest of the times I don't know.
It's just maybe ease of access and stuff like that as well. So we'll see. Yeah. Next one's obviously Essen. We have to, but I don't know. Again, Essen's like another thing. It's like I don't think I could do Essen. I'm not sure.
Essen's twice the size of you.
Yeah. That's like no thanks.
So big.
No, we're not.
So big,
we're not doing. No, we're not doing it. I don't know if I could do Essen. I don't know if I could do Essen.
It's one I would tick off on your bucket list.
I think it would be one of these things if, like, the doctor said, sorry, you've only got so long to live. I'd be like, straight on the straight book on those tickets to Essen. It's like, if I'm going to...
I'm going to an old coal mining town in Germany that nobody knows except for one thing.
Exactly. I might as well go there, and if I'm going to die, I might as well die amongst my people. That's going to be the way it is. In terms of playing, then, what you're looking at getting? What are you looking at playing?
What have I been playing?
Yes. We'll touch on this quite quickly.
Been playing quite a nice amount of Necromunda, which has been really good fun. Getting back into
you had mentioned that.
It's been really good fun. Yeah. My Spyro gang have been doing well and getting the hang of them. That's been really good fun. Just felt like the good old days. Back when we were smelly, horrible teenagers.
I always washed. But it's probably smelly anyway. So
I was going to say there's a funk that comes off teenage boys that no amount of cosmetics have ever been able to truly combat.
Exactly.
Especially when you get 5 or 6 of them in a room together for any length of time.
It's just I guess you're right. You're absolutely right.
There's only so much things they can do. What else have we played? We had one of my absolute favourites. Mission Red Planet. Bunch of my mates had never played it before. I took it saying like, I've been really wanting to play this again lately. I've been really wanting to get it to the table. Can we play this? And everybody at the table hadn't played it, and I swore that everybody at the table had played it, but clearly none of them had played it. But everybody loved it, and it was great fun. I have you played Mission Red Planet?
No, probably I have, but no, I haven't.
It's just such a great area control game, and if a game needs 5 or 6 players, it's one of my go-to. This is it's an instant win. It's got just enough so it can be a bit bitchy and a bit gotcha, but everybody's doing it to everybody. Nobody's there's not as much targeting as so it's not like you end up with sort of vendettas. You will get people kind of like, because it's area control, but it just seems to balance out quite nicely. So if you're going into it that it's going to be a little bit aggressive, and you can deal with that, you're fine. It's just brilliant game.
Oh, cool.
So much fun.
Cool.
What else? So we should be hopefully getting back to Iridia. We've been back and forth, could do this, and just life getting in the way. So hopefully we'll get back to Iridia this week. I have my copy of Container arrived, and I've been really wanting to get Container played.
Lovely.
And I was kind of really all ready to, because I'd said to the guys like, "Oh, there's a game I really want to play." And when we played Mission Red Planet, that was what they thought when I said, they said, "Oh, this is the one you really wanted to play." Is it? And I was like, "No, I happen to have also been wanting to play this, but there's another new game that I've got, which I really want to play, but I hadn't brought it because I can't." Container's not a complicated game, but I think it's a little bit of a tricky teach, and I knew I hadn't got it all in my head well enough that
there's nothing worse
I was
than
going to be able to
yeah.
sort of treat it with teach it with confidence. Because it's a dangerous game going into a game that nobody truly knows how to play.
Saying
that's happened to me so few times.
Yes, exactly. Searching for extraterrestrial life.
What else have we been playing? We've been having some fun with some family stuff like Rhino Hero Super Mega Battle, and it's great fun.
Such a good, such an amazing, such a brilliant game.
It's just brilliant. I've been putting together and painting lots of my Carnivale miniatures because I realised that kind of had it for a long time and haven't, I really wanted to get it painted, played, and stuff like that. What else? There was something else I have played that I really enjoyed. Oh, Dnup.
Oh,
Dnup.
right. Is that Dnup? Not Dnup.
Yeah, Dnup. Down, up, down, up, Dnup, down, up, down.
Was
whatever the
Dnup?
hell
Were
it's
they
called.
trying to make that the UK Games Expo show darling as well? Was that not
Yeah,
for
but
sale for a few places? But I've not.
I think it. I never actually. No, I coincidentally, it was one of the ones I had on my list of like, I'll try and pick that up at the UK Games Expo. But then I happened to go into Odyssey Games in Ely, which is my sort of friendly local game store. We were in Ely. I had no particular need to go in there, but just said, to the kids, let's stick our head into Odyssey, because the lady who runs Odyssey, she's lovely. She's a really nice lady. Yeah. So we were just having a chat, and I saw she had Dnup, and I thought, well, it's right here in front of me. I'll pick that up now. And instead of at UK, and luckily I did, because I never actually saw a copy available at UK Games Expo. So I'm glad I did get it. And we played that the other night, and it's really, really good. It's it was a little bit like it took us a little bit to get our head around.
Yeah.
But it's a cracking game. It's like Scout, but not quite the same as Scout. So you're trying to get rid of all your cards. First to get rid of all their cards gets 2 points. Second to get rid of all their cards gets 1 point, and the other two lose. First person to have 4 points wins.
Oh, right, okay.
So your cards are 1 to 10, but there's different ratios of those numbers. And you will play a card in front of you, or you'll play a set in front of you. And a set could be anywhere from one card to, however many.
Yeah.
So, a set of 5, if there are enough of those,
Mm-hmm.
So then in your turn, you could do a few things. You could either play a set in front of you. You can either add a card to a set of somebody else's, or you could pick up somebody else's cards.
Oh, okay.
Now, the thing with the cards is they're like Scout cards, where it might be if you're holding it up one way, it might be a 7. If you're holding it up another way, it might be a 2.
Ah, right, okay.
But in Scout, when you got your hand, you can't rearrange it, and you had to kind of play cards out of it.
Mm-hmm.
PC in Dnup, you can assort the cards however you want, but they've got to stay that way up. Oh, the other thing you could do is you could flip your hand over, so you could turn your hand over the other way. and then obviously again rearrange it into the number order. So to play cards though, so say for instance I've played 3 5s in front of me, right? And it gets to your turn. Say you wanted to play 3 4s. Well, now you can't play 3 4s because they don't beat my 3 5s.
Ah, right, okay.
Right? But if in front of anybody else, you play your cards in front of you, they're not into the centre or anything like that. So I would have my 3 5 sat in front of me, and then to my left, it might be Matt, and he might play 2 4s, right? Because he's not trying to beat my 3 5s unless he was trying to play 3 cards.
Ah, right, okay.
So a pair is only trying to beat another pair. A set of 3 is only trying to beat another 3. A single card is only trying to beat another single card.
Ah, right, okay.
So then, for instance, then it gets to you. So you've got your 3 4s. So you can't play your 3 4s because
you play 3 5s. But I could play.
You can't play 2 of the 4s because Matt's already got 2 of the 4s.
Yes.
He's got a pair of 4s. So what you could do is add a 4 to his.
Yes.
That's your go over. You play the card. You've got a card out of your hand.
Ah,
it's first
right.
to, get rid of cards.
Yeah.
So, but then when it gets back round to you, if my 3 5s are still sat in front of me, then they get discarded into the centre pile, and they're done. I've lost, those cards are out of the game now.
Yeah.
So that's how you shed your cards, But if, for instance, it gets, I play my 3 5s, Matt plays his 2 4s, then it gets to you and you go, oh, lovely, I'll play 3 6s. I now pick my 3 5s back up, but I pick them up the other way round.
Ah, right, okay.
So whatever they are,
Yeah.
those 3 5s might now be a 7, a 6, and a 1.
That's clever.
Yeah, and it works. It's really, really good. So you're only ever battling the sets you want to make, which that was the bit that we couldn't get our head around at first. We sort of missed that when we were trying to understand it. But it works really well. Once we'd done that and got it, it was like, yeah, this is a really clever little game. I'd heard that it was kind of like slightly easier Scout, and I'm not entirely sure it is an easier Scout. It's like it's just like a different version of Scout. It's like it's like it's almost like the deck of cards thing. It's just a different way of playing with a deck of cards.
Yeah.
It's a different game and if you take the Scout deck of cards with, opposing numbers in the corners, this is another way of playing it. It's got a very similar vibe to Scout, and you're trying to get rid of your cards. But you go about it in different ways and trying to look at cards and go like, oh yeah, I could pick those up because then they turn into a 3 and a 2 and a 7, and I've already got 2 7s. So yeah, okay, I can use those. I can make those work and stuff like that. So yeah, really, really, really fun little game. It's one that will, really tiny little game, so it'll always be in the bag.
Is this the same designer as Flip 7? Am I right or wrong?
No, same designer as Scout.
Oh, same designer as Scout. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was wrong. So I'm going to go and sit in the corner like an idiot. So
clearly he's had one idea, and that's it.
That's his
and he's
one
basically
idea.
just tweaking it. He's just tweaking it.
However, right, he's living in a house that he's paid off. So
probably from Scout,
more fool us, more fool us, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all fine.
So yeah, no, that's a really good game. And we played Comic Book Hunters as well, which was great.
Such a
that
good
night.
game.
And my mate's wife, George, who is one of the best gamers I know.
Hi, George.
She hi, George. She might well be listening, actually. I think she does listen. She's always so annoyingly good at games. You know what I mean? There's so many games where like I'll put a game down, I'll be like,
you hate this.
I know George is going to like this. I know George is going to like it, and I know we'll be like 4 turns in or something, and you could just see her. She's just it's just clicking. She's just gone.
It's amazing.
Oh right, yeah. I see how I'm going to fuck all you boys up. I'm hoping actually, because George said this as well the other night. I really want to play Encyclopedia again, because it's one of my favourite games of all time. And the more I think about it, the more I realise how much I truly love that game. And George absolutely loves it as well. It's not a perfect game, and it's got its flaws, and it's a bit clunky and stuff like that. But I think what it does so goddamn well, and I think it's so massively underappreciated game because I think it's brilliant. I truly, truly love it. Did you ever play it?
I've not, but I remember as the box art sticks out. Who does the box art again? Is it your man?
It's not Vincent Dutrait, but it's kind of got a like slightly more watercolory Vincent Dutrait vibe.
Yeah. That's how I always saw that, and I went, I actually just want to play that game based on the box art alone because it looks.
Oh, and I would imagine a lot of
looks
people
lovely.
Did exactly.
It looks absolutely lovely. You know, I'd like to
love
play
it.
that.
I think it's just Next time we do actually get together, I will make sure I've got Encyclopedia because I think you'll really like Encyclopedia.
I am. I'm going to. No, I'd like to play that. I'd like to play that. We have been continuing our campaign of Eternal Decks. I know it's like, campaign of Eternal Decks, but we played the Gatekeeper. We had to play the Gatekeeper game 3 times because
what's that mean?
Well, because. You know how you read in a rule book and you read a sentence and the sentence is ambiguous enough for everybody to doubt what they've been doing. Because Eternal, we're at level number 4 and the game has been thrown kind of like inventive curveball after inventive curveball after you play the game. So this level, and I'm not going to spoil it, but basically they've changed the game again, and you are still playing cards in the lanes, and it's absolutely lovely. But they've introduced an additional kind of mechanic, which was, and the sentence read something along the lines after once every player has had their turn, then this happens. So we are now Eternal Decks is one of these games where either everything goes really well and then you get to a point where you struggle and the brain starts to burn and you're really having to say you're not really allowed to communicate. You're not allowed to say, well, I've got a 4, I've got a 2.
Right.
You're allowed to put your communication disc down to say where you think you should be able to play. So we're playing this round the first time round and every card is hitting well. Every card, we're getting to the end of the rows, we're collecting our decks, everybody's sitting there, we're deck happy, we've got plenty of options, we're kicking ass on this level. And then we look at it and we're looking around it and we're going, we're 45 minutes in, guys, there's no way that we should be kind of playing, we should be basically getting this far and getting this easily. So we'd read this line in the rulebook and it's like, well, after every player has had a turn, after every player's turn, and it's like, so we thought, well, maybe we're misinterpreting this rule. And what the rule should be is that, rather than waiting for everybody to have a turn before this mechanic kicks off, maybe we should be kicking off this mechanic at the end of every separate player's turn. So I have a turn, then this mechanic happens, and then the next person has a turn, and the mechanic happens. But we basically reset the game. We started again. We start playing the game, and we're like, nah, we've done the maths here, and we've figured out we've now got to complete this entire game within 14 turns. Not 14 rounds,
which I take it would not be possible.
Which was 14 turns. So basically, we all have what's going to happen is we're all going to have 2 turns, 2 or 3 turns each, and that's it. We've got to get through this, and it's there's no way we're going to get it. So then we went back to it's interesting because then in the third time we went, right, okay, well we have messed this up and we've got to reset it again. And I'm just I don't want this. It's just I was wanting to play something else. So we reset it, but this time it was a much more balanced, more aggressive, more difficult kind of game. So we got to the end of it and we still got through it, and we're still really, really happy we got through it. But we thought, right, okay, this is where the kind of the challenge is. So it's really fun. But yeah, I'm really, really, really enjoying just the imagination and the design imagination that's gone into somebody just not saying oh yeah, well, instead of playing 4 cards, play 3 cards and see how you get on. This is somebody going, right, instead of playing 4 cards, let's see what happens when you do this, 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 and this. So the kind of imagination that's gone into the game is kind of like, it's really, really kind of, I'm very, very impressed with how it's playing.
It sounds very, very similar to the way Bombusters is developing for us, because it just does little things where it just suddenly goes, yeah, this is how you normally play
Yes.
it. This time do it 5 times. Or this time you've got to draw out these 5 cards with numbers on them, and until you do that number at the front, you can't do any of the numbers behind it and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it just sets these sudden new little single rules or 2 rules, you know, that just make you not think differently, but just think much more carefully, you know, or just slightly to alter the way you approach
it's just
stuff.
there's one thing which is tasks, and what you've got to do is you're used to playing cards in like rows, and I've got to play cards in an ascending order, or we've got to all play cards in a descending order, or we can only play 1, 2, 3s, 4s, 8s and 9s. Those are the only cards that you can play. But there's one thing where it's like, okay, based on the colours of cards that you've set, that is you've got to try and make sure that you play not necessarily cards in a number order, but you've definitely got to form like a mosaic of shapes in this particular shape with these particular colours, and that's the task that you've got to complete. So it's almost like a sandbox where somebody's like said, you start off with a deck, you start off with your own hand, a deck of cards which are red and they're numbers 1 to 5. But as you go, you're going to also pick up maybe a deck of cards that contain green and blue cards. So you're going to have colours and numbers. It is almost like taking a deck of cards, and how many different games can we invent using this deck of cards? And that's Eternal Decks for you. What can we do with a colour and number match that we can do differently here? How can we introduce like a bad guy? How can we introduce like a puzzle challenge? How can we introduce kind of like making you have to maximize the cards that you have into some kind of puzzle to make sure that everybody's always got a deck of cards? And it's just, it's turning into something very, very special. My concern, right, isn't over Eternal Decks, because I think this could be, I'll be honest, this could be in 6 months' time, and I'd be saying, well, I'm very, very kind of sure about this will easily be in top 3 for this year as far as games go. Easily. They've got another game coming out called Eternal Sevens, and I'm wondering, we're doing the difficult second album now. You know, is it going to be, because Eternal Decks, you've blown me away. You've turned my head, young man. What are you doing with your next game? And I'm just wondering how inventive this next game's going to be. Or if it's like what you're saying with Scout, is it like, is the designer a one-trick pony here, and they're just going to do something slightly different? So Eternal Decks is definitely, I'm bibbidi-bobbidi booing at that one. It's absolutely fantastic. I am interested. No, I'm still. There's going to be quite a few kind of reviews. I've been touching on Vantage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a strange one. There's so much going on. And it's like one of these games where you're like, I see what you're trying to do, but. And there's a but there, and I'm gonna go into that. I've got quite a few thoughts on Vantage, and they're not like, this isn't a good game, which is interesting. It's almost like, you know what I mean? You're trying to use a spanner here to unscrew a screw out of a wall. Almost. We're so close on that one, but you know, that's it. I've got
a friend of mine recently got everything for Detective City of Angels.
Oh, okay.
From Van Ryder games.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to give that a look, because Z really champions that game over on the Dice Tower.
And you two have a little bit of synergy when it comes to like games.
Definitely. Yeah. There's, you know, it's not always what's the best way of putting it? If Z says he loves a game, it's probably going to be at least a 6.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
You know, he's never going to love a game that I'm going to turn around and go, what the fuck is he talking about? He's paid for this shit? You know,
Probably not.
So yeah, it looks really good.
You signed for this?
Yeah, so I really look forward to trying that because it's got vintage trait artwork as well, so it's beautiful. And I like what AJ and does with Van Ryder. And also on Monday, I think I have a game arriving that I'm really looking forward to playing called Hit the Silk.
I have heard of that.
Which it's it did quite well, I think, once it arrived the first time. And it's about trying to I think your plane is crashing and you're trying to, but essentially you're trying to get out with a parachute.
Right,
and you're constantly exchanging cards and stuff like that. And you know, it looks really, really, it looks it's just like one of those ones that would be very good for us.
That's good. That's good fun. That sounds like good fun. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. The others. That reminds me to go and get out the box. I've got a game called The Presence that I've got. Somebody said, "Oh, just we're not doing anything with this until it's available, but we're doing an expansion in September, October." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So it gives me tons of time, so I'm having a look at that. But I am desperate to get Tag Team. As I say, I've also got Omens as well, which I think was the other little kind of darling of the show. Yeah. That everybody was, a lot of people were talking about Omens as well. So I got that. So there we go.
I just realised another thing I desperately want to get played, and I'm so pleased that it's arrived now, and it's the Reichbusters Reloaded stuff. So
yes,
now Reichbusters was one of the many screeching tires on the inevitable car crash of Mythic games, and I used to love what Mythic Games did, but they were undeniably an absolute shit show of a company.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would have a great idea, they'd show it to you, and it would be beautiful. It would look amazing, and then you'd read a rule book, and you'd be like, "What in the blue hell is this bullshit that you're trying to sell me?" And Reichbusters, it was not necessarily one of those. Well, actually, I tell a lie. It absolutely was one of those, because it was one that came with an errata pack that was so massive. I think it weighed about 2.5 kilos because it was basically a reprint of almost every car. It was an absolute shit show.
Wonderful.
But the premise of Reichbusters is you are an Inglorious Bastards-esque, World War II organisation, and you are trying to break into these facilities to take on these various leaders of this part of the sort of occult of the Third Reich that are dealing with this new resource called Vril, which is like this
made up. It's a made up drug.
Mutating power kind of thing. And in the game, the way it would work is you would break into a facility and you would try and do everything as quietly as you could and as quietly as you could before the alarm went off and all. And then you would just go, right, fucking, go loud, guns are blazing, blah, blah, blah. But the trouble with the game was everything was a sound check. Everything was a noise check,
all right.
And it was just constantly, you were just constantly rolling a noise check, for the most innocuous of things, And there was tokens everywhere and everything like that. And it just, all this shit got in the way of this brilliant premise and this really fun environment. And then luckily Monolith eventually picked it up took it off the dying corpse of Mythic and said, "We'll take this for now. Don't worry, she'll be fine with us." And off they went over the hill. So they've done loads of streamlining. They've got rid of almost all of the tokens. They've massively reduced why and when you do noise tests and stuff like that. So hopefully, now what I'm really hoping is that they've stripped back enough to make it really fun and playable and it doesn't get in the way of itself.
Yeah.
And they haven't stripped back too much that it's lost the fun and the carnage that it was supposed to be in the first place. So hopefully they've got that balance right. I do trust Monolith.
Of course you do.
Probably one of,
they
probably
make
one of
some
my
of your favourite games, don't they? You absolutely love the games that they're playing.
They kind of, they because obviously Monolith and Mythic were kind of one and the same at one point and they eventually parted ways. And I think it's the left brain, right brain of you know.
Right.
So, you know, I have lots of faith in Monolith that they'll do good with it.
Good.
So yeah, I'm really hoping it will be fantastic. And they did add some new stuff, like you can go outside environments and now you get towers, like lookout towers, but they're actually 3-dimensional. So they're board pieces that you just put these little plastic edges on so that you can have like towers so that obviously you can be seen further away. So it should be, So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully that'll be really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to go soon because it's that time. But I do want to mention one thing before we go is that my youngest brother, he's a bit of a Lego. He's not a Lego fanatic, but over the years, because he's got 2 young boys, he has been involved in collecting Lego, and he's got a lovely, beautiful loft conversion. And he's got a Lego train track kind of running through this thing. He's building up little cities and stuff like that. It just looks amazing. He's developed an app, and that app allows you to basically plan. You get your Lego pieces that you know you've got, and you select them, and it allows you to build yourself like a little train track. So you're planning them. And he's released this on the iTunes store or the App Store. It's called Your Tracks. It's something like £1. Do you know what? He mentioned it to me, and I think, do you know what? I'm just going to mention this where I can. So I mention it where I can. If you're into your Lego at all, if you're into your kind of your old school kind of building up your little train tracks and having your trains running around them, and you're like, oh, how can I'd like to plan where I'm going to be putting my tracks, how they're all going to be coming together and stuff like that. He's continually developing it. He's going to be bringing in more features and stuff like that. I'm just very proud that he's went out there, he's developed this, he's put it on the kind of the App Store, and he's making some sales from it as well. And it's not that expensive as well. It's called Your Track, so I'll make sure there's like a link in the show notes as well. But I'm very proud of you, Brian, for just, because my view on this is there's going to be 1,000 other people who are sitting there with an idea, and they're not going to do anything with it. Just going to let it sit and fester. And he's put his head above the parapet and he's putting it out there. So that's worth a shout out alone.
Yeah, more power to him.
Absolutely.
Funny enough, I was only saying like a couple of weeks ago, me and Elliot were in a toy shop. We were looking at the Lego stuff, and I have a very odd relationship with Lego now because like. I love Star Wars. Star Wars is one of my favourite things in the world. But I don't like Lego Star Wars.
Nah.
So I don't like it, but I just think of it as 2 different things.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, there is Star Wars and there's Lego Star Wars. And they're not the same thing.
Yes.
But I did say to him, we were sitting there and I was looking up at the Lego City stuff, and I did say, like, it would be fucking cool to make a really cool big Lego train track. A Lego train track, and the whole city stuff around it. And I've always liked the Lego City stuff because it kind of, I think, feels like the Lego I remember as a kid.
Oh yeah, no. So that's it. I mean, that's what it's about. I think
more power to you, brother. Well done to him.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Right. It draws us to an end. If you have listened along this evening, or today, or tomorrow, or whenever you choose to listen, and you like what you've listened, there's a couple of things you can do. You can tell other people about us. You can, if you see our stuff listed on Facebook or any place like that, then give it a share. give it a like, drop a little comment. If we're on your podcast catcher of choice, drop us a rating or review, because that also helps us kind of get out there. Or if you even just want to send us a message, just, tell us about your LEGO endeavours. If you were at UK Games Expo, tell us about how you got on there. Drop us a little email, magic@we'renotwizards.com. I am aware of the email address. That's why I chose it. Otherwise, you can check out all our written pieces at we'renotwizards.co.uk. That also has the latest episodes that are out there. If you want to go directly to the source, you can go to we'renotwizards.com, and all you will find there is podcasts and nothing more, because it is fantastic. But there's only a couple of things to do. It's to remember that we're many things, but we're not wizards, because we're not. Remember, stay safe, roll sixes, make something awful, and
stay spicy, please.
And in this weather also, maybe put on a little bit of sunscreen, because I'm just looking at my face and I've got the Scottish red. Look at this, I've got the Scottish red going on.
I'm quite pleasingly bronzed.
I noticed that. I thought you've either been, you're getting yourself tanned up for the kind of the Britain's strongest.
No, but
man.
if I take this vest off,
Yeah.
it looks like I'm still wearing a white one.
Does it?
So,
are you vested?
Yeah.
I've
always vested.
I've gone back to the vest.
You got guns like these, mate.
Exactly. You're bringing out the artillery. You don't cover it up, do you? Anyway, it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
And until the next time. Until then, goodbye.
A wizard is never
Bye-bye.
Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.